listening to the one and only Bert Show.
Scooter Braun calling in this morning. Justin Bieber's dude. His manager calling in this morning. Hey, Scoot.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm trying to start the vacation soon, just like you.
I feel so bad for you that this is the end for Justin now, as he announced his retirement a couple of days ago, man.
It was pretty funny because he said it, and then right afterwards he says, just kidding, kind of explained the whole thing. And the station put up one of those vines, but didn't put the part where he said he was joking.
Oh, really? They accidentally edited that part out, huh?
Yeah, and next thing you know, like, the phones just started ringing like crazy. So, but, yeah, he definitely, for the first time since he was 12 years old, is going to take, not a break from music, but kind of a break from the media. And he's going to spend the next year just writing and spending time with his family and kind of, taking the time at 19, 20 years old to, just be by himself for a little bit. Is that
even possible for this kid now? I mean, even if he's not in doing music, he's still not going to be able, he's not thinking he's going to be able to walk the streets now all of a sudden and just be a regular kid, right?
No, he has 6 guys that are paid full-time jobs to be paparazzi to just follow him. Obviously, he doesn't pay them. It's, these outlets. And, it's very, very hard, but I think he's going to take time to travel. And he's still going to have to live a very guarded life, but, he just wants to take some time and not have any professional responsibilities and just, take time to reflect and figure out who he wants to be.
So there are 6 people who are paid just to wait for him to do something photo-worthy?
They literally sit outside the gates of his property all day long, all night long, and as soon as he comes out, they just start following him.
Now,
they know all the cars, and it's pretty wild.
What would happen if you walked down to the end of the driveway and you said, "Hey, buddy, what are they paying you?" And the guy says, "I make $80,000 a year," and you say, "I'll give you $150,000 a year, but you only take pictures that we authorize." Would they go for that?
There would be 2 things that would happen. 1, he'd be replaced by another guy the next day. And 2, you would have someone following you for $150,000 a year every single day from now on, because I would definitely send them to follow you.
It's Scooter Braun joining us this morning.
Now, you guys just had the Believe premiere, correct?
Yeah, we had it yesterday.
How did that go?
So it was yesterday, the day before. I haven't slept in like 4 days getting this whole thing together. So it was fun. Our buddy Usher was there, and Justin, and, it felt like old times on the Bert Show.
Hopefully it was better than that.
From the looks of the pictures, it looks a little nicer.
Just so you know, if it was like old times on the Bert Show, I'd be in another studio talking Bert off a ledge right now while trying to politely decline your call, Scooter, until he was willing to talk to you, to be honest with you.
There's some history there.
I'm not going to lie to you guys. We were talking about just the other day how much we all miss Atlanta.
You got to come on back and come in studio, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I never got rid of my place there, and still consider it, like a second home. I was talking to somebody. I realized my entire adult life until I was 30 years old was in Atlanta.
And now, I follow you on Instagram. I mean, you're living the life now. Also, it seems like you're getting on a private plane, and you're in every corner of the earth each and every week now.
I got no problem sitting coach a commercial, but I haven't saved the money. But no, I'm living definitely a blessed life, working hard. I took my whole staff to Disneyland today, kind of, end the year, and it's we're definitely just living a blessing and trying to do the right thing, give back. And I can tell you guys, I just got back last week. I was in the Philippines, went to the affected areas. And you think you know what a disaster zone looks like, and you think your life has problems, and then you see things like that, and it just puts it all in perspective.
Yeah, Jeff brought this up months and months and months ago, and he said something that has stuck with me since the day he said it, that you really have to check yourself almost daily and realize what the difference is between inconveniences and problems. And 99.9% of us, if you're listening to this show right now, you have some inconveniences, but you don't have problems like they have in the Philippines.
It's 6 million people displaced with nowhere to go. It's what really blew me away though was not the issues. I saw literally oil tankers that looked like they were thrown like toys onto the upside down, flipped over, just destroying buildings, and they were just sitting there. And the thing that really blew me away though was the spirit of the Filipino people. they're continuing to live. They're not acting like they're depressed. They're saying, you know what, we got to pick up, we got to start over. And it was incredibly inspiring because they're starting over with nothing. And it really puts it all in perspective.
Yeah, I saw the pictures of Justin interacting with the kids and the people there. Did you see a difference in him after you guys left?
We, about a month before, we went to Guatemala and built schools kind of in the middle of nowhere. And the kids in that area, because they don't have access, they didn't know who he was. And kids in the Philippines, they knew who he was. But I think when he gets in moments like that, it's refreshing for him. It's not about anything else, and it's about them. And, for him, I think it's moments like that allow him to have that same thing that Bert said, that, dealing with paparazzi is an inconvenience. It sucks, but it's not a problem. And, it kind of makes the job worthwhile.
Sure. I'm taking my 11-year-old down to Guatemala next year, too, on a mission trip.
Very, very cool. Yeah, it's an amazing country. But yeah, it's pretty wild. We had a whole talk in the staff today of, I think as our society, we kind of talk about how we can make money and this, that, and the other. And then really, I say it all the time, you hear about, millionaires and billionaires killing themselves every single year, from depression.
Mm-hmm.
You never hear about anyone killing themselves, who's a volunteer at a soup kitchen.
Right.
So I think that, if you just take a moment and sit back and think about that, you kind of realize how easy it is to be happy if you just kind of have the right perspective.
It's an awesome way to look at it. At the new movie, my kids are so pumped. I mean, weeks ago, I forget what Disney movie that they had dragged me into. Maybe it was Frozen? Or something like that.
Yeah.
Before I fell asleep. They were really, really excited because they saw the trailer for the new movie. And my kids, my 11-year-old and my 6-year-old, are pumped for this Bieber movie.
Well, I'm sorry. Unlike Never Say Never, it doesn't feature Bieber.
I know.
And I think that is probably its biggest, downfall.
I saw you put Seacrest in there a little bit more this time, and that's why you won't make as much money on this one.
No, I think this movie, funny enough, we actually made the movie before Justin had all the drama from this past year.
Yeah.
And we decided to actually can the movie for 6 months because we realized we couldn't put out a fluff piece, not with everything going on. So we decided to kind of film everything. And then we had Justin do a sit-down 3-hour interview with John Chu, the director, where he got asked all the tough questions of, are you the next train wreck? Are you falling apart? Are you handling this the wrong way? And he answered everything to the point where at one point he even broke down, and we decided to put it all in the film. And I think, if the last one kind of represented hope, this film kind of represents when you get knocked down, how do you get back up? And it gives perspective into a kid's life. There have been a lot of rumors, and it kind of gives you an understanding of everything that's going on. It delivers a really cool message and kind of shows what you guys know because you know them. We forget these people become very big stars. We hear about the media every day, and this film kind of shows that he's human.
Right. It's tough, I try to stick up for him quite a bit because I try to see it through the eyes of a 19-year-old kid that is living a life that very, very few 19-year-olds will ever go through.
Very few is an understatement.
The superstardom, yet still there's a human instinct there to be 19 years old or be 18 and be 17. And if you had a camera on me and you had 6 hired paparazzi on me between the ages of 16 and 22 or 23 years old, you'd have a hell of a lot more material than you have with Justin Bieber right now. I'll promise you that. I promise you that.
Well, I think that's why we kind of had this moment where, it was like the taste of blood happened where he made his first mistake and it just started spiraling. And I found myself really frustrated because I couldn't address everything for him. It was like literally they were saying, oh, he's speeding through the neighborhood, but then we have security cameras showing he wasn't even in the car. And, but then, there were things that he did that were wrong. And he knew he made a mistake, and he'd pick up the phone and apologize. And, he hasn't been perfect, but like you said, none of us are at that age, and that's not an excuse. But I think what we decided to do was, instead of addressing everything, we put it all in this film. So it's all addressed at once, and it's kind of on our terms. And it's rough. I mean, I said it the other day to a buddy of mine, no one actually in the history of humanity, the billions of people that have lived on this earth, no one's ever lived the teenage years like him because no one's ever been a solo artist that famous in a time of camera phones and Twitter and social media. Usher said it to me the other day. He was like, could you imagine me at 19 if people had camera phones?
Jeez. Scary thought.
It
It's
is
a
a
super scary thought. Is there, as the guy that found him and has made him as successful as he is right now, do you ever, from time to time, have, how do I phrase this?
Guilt.
I was going to say regret or guilt that in those really tough times that he has, that that you were the one that found him.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why I beat myself up at times, and I find myself. I mean, you're a dad, Bert, and I think you can understand this. It's kind of the same thing as parenting. You find yourself desperately trying to stop them from making every mistake that you understand how to avoid because you've been there, and you find yourself trying to keep them away from any kind of pain or hurt. And then when they do the normal teenage thing of rebelling against things and making the mistake of how to handle things because they're angry, you're trying to stop it and you're blaming yourself. And then one day you just kind of wake up and it makes you a better man. You realize that you can't handle it like that. And your job is no longer to protect them from falling down, but, just allow them to make mistakes. And when they fall down, you just have to be there every single time they get back up.
Right.
And I think that it's honestly, that's kind of where I'm at. You just can't stop caring. And yeah, you beat yourself up and say, I put him in this position. But at the end of the day, you just got to say at the same time, we're blessed. We can do a lot of good. I mean, I've seen that kid, Grant. He's 19 years old. There's been a lot of musicians who do a lot of work with Make-A-Wish. At 19, he's already the number one Make-A-Wish giver of any musician of all time.
Is that right?
And he does a lot. We don't get the press for it because that's not what it's for. But at the same time, that same pedestal he's been put on allows him to do all this good, and you got to focus on that. You can't beat yourself up, and you can't let other people, who are saying all that crap, bring you down. That's their drama, not yours.
Well, Scooter, if it makes you feel any better, we did report that in our entertainment buzz because we think it's only fair that he gets the kudos as well with the other crap that the media puts out there.
Well, his first big interview was on your show, and he's just very happy to be taller than Bert after all these years.
Yeah, right.
And it's not even close anymore. It's not even close. All right, Scooter, next time you're in town, come on in, man.
Absolutely. Guys, have a great holiday. Thanks a lot.
You too. We'll talk to you next year.
Bye.
Scooter Braun. That's
nice.
cool. He just called in
That's
this
a cool
morning.
surprise.
Yeah, we weren't expecting him to call in, but that's cool.
It is The Bert Show.